Our special board meeting of the Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency meeting to order at 9:34. We are located in the Village of Broadview Municipal Chambers, 2350 South 25th Avenue. Call for a roll call. Mayor Stecker.
Present.
Ms. Jones.
Present.
Mayor Thompson here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm going to ask that we table the minutes from September 22nd and October 12th. I have not had a chance to review them. I don't know if you have.
Yeah, we just got them.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda is the monthly financial report for October 2022.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Hope you're all doing well. So for the monthly financial report for September 30th, asset-wise, cash in the bank, we have $4.5 million. And we have assets of about $6.8 million. Operationally wise, through September, we're looking at a surplus of $73,000, which, because of the fact that we've made our bond payment for the period, it's right in where we want to be as far as financially is concerned. We did notice that we had a vendor, well, actually, depending on who you talk to, one of our customers had 2 bills missing, which were significant, so that's been corrected. So those have been corrected and paid. That's why the receivable is so high. It's because there were 2 bills from one of the member districts. So we fixed that. Going forward, you know, we hope to keep a better track of that. We should have caught that they were 2 months behind, and we didn't. So we apologize. Other than that, we're waiting on the audit. I'm currently not happy with Lauterbach and Amon. They were out for field work back at the end of June or early July, and then we didn't hear from them for a month. And then we sent an email going, hey, where's our draft? And then they sent us a whole list of stuff they needed. And then we sent that all back to them, and then we said, hey, where's our audit? Like 2-3 weeks later. Oh, then they sent us a whole nother list of stuff. So I'm not happy. They were physically on site, right? They were physically on site and didn't ask for this stuff. So I'm a little bit frustrated. So after this audit gets done, we're going to have to talk about next year's audit, because we can't have this. It's been 3 months, 3.5 months, 4 months now since they were out for field work. We should have had the audit done, approved by you guys. So just want you to know that this is not an uncommon problem. I have this same problem in 2 of my other districts, as
With
well
the same
as
firm?
one. Huh?
With the same audit firm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. The struggle that we're having is that audit firms, as I said last time, is we're just so difficult. So we need to have a conversation with them and say, hey, you were out here. Why didn't you ask for the stuff while you were out here? But I need to get the audit first. I don't want to slap them before I get the audit first. So I did want you to know that we have been following up with them. We just are getting a really slow response from them.
Okay. So I'm going to call in our attorney, Mike Jerusik. He couldn't be here because he had, so I want to chime him in. I should have did that at the beginning. But I do have some questions about the audit.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me get him on the phone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Attorney Jerusik. We got you on the speakerphone. We have you on the speakerphone, so we've already went through the formalities, and Kelly has given us an update on the audit, so we're going to just continue on. So the question that I have with the audit, I know you did explain to us at the last meeting that there's been some concerns in the financial world as it relates to government financials and audits and stuff like that. And most certainly, the audit is important to us, as if we want to do anything, we need that document. I know the Village of Broadview has had some challenges with some audits getting done in a timely manner, but is there any way that maybe we can ask them to come to the next board meeting so that we can question them on why?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll be more than happy to have them come.
yeah, they should come to the board meeting and address us with the concerns so that we know that we're on track on what's taking place, because it's about accountability.
Yeah.
The public is holding us accountable, and we need to hold them accountable.
Totally agree. And over the last 6 weeks, I've been introduced to some smaller public accounting firms that do governments.
Okay.
So I have some more options as far as audit firms are concerned, that do tend to do smaller governments like ours.
Okay, that's fine.
So we have more options now. It's just right now, we have to look at the RFP that we sent out, the engagement letter we signed, and evaluate from that perspective.
So that was my other thing, because I know that we had approved for a couple of years with this firm. So Attorney Jerusik, can you get with Superintendent Barber and Kelly as it relates to the engagement letter that we signed with this firm to see?
Yes, I will. I'll review that with them and we'll report back.
Okay,
Sounds good.
Okay.
And I will ask them to have a representative next month.
okay, that'd be fine. Thank you. Any questions, Mayor Staker, for Kelly? I don't have any. Thank you. Next on the agenda is old business, the status report of the expansion of the water agency water reservoir capacity. So we have Jim Goomis this morning. Good morning.
We were tasked with looking at what the impacts would be for going from 1 million to 1.5 million gallon reservoir. So there's some drawings here to kind of walk you through. So to increase the volume, we got 3 options: deeper, bigger, and higher. We're limited on deeper. We can only go about a foot deeper due to just get the water to be able to flow from one reservoir to the other down into the pump station. The second option is to go wider, to go a bigger diameter. That poses some challenges. First of all, it moves the structure and everything closer to the residential level,
Okay.
13th and 10th. It also makes grading a little bit more problematic on the 13th Street side, and it's the most costly option because you have all that extra excavation. So going tall is another option. So if you go on to go to the third page, because the second page just shows what going wider is, and that's not what's really used. The third one that has the blue line. And you can see we're going taller would increase the height about 6 feet from what it was proposed. So it'd be 6 foot taller than what it is at 1 million gallons. At the top and also on the sides. So if you look, so the top of the reservoir would be about 21 feet higher than when you're standing on 10th Avenue. And before it was about 50 feet higher. So equivalent of a 2-story house, but it's 120 feet wide.
Okay.
So that's what the impacts are. I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
Well, I'm a visual person. I'm not good with graphs and charts.
Okay.
So is it any way that we can get like the million and then the 1.5, 2 million like side by side so that we can actually visualize it? Yeah.
Like a point of view from
10th Avenue.
Right.
10th Avenue.
Okay.
And
I want to make sure that was happening. We want to go before we went through that.
Well, if wide is not going to make sense, we didn't need to, because it's going to cost us more to go wide. So,
So the cost, yeah. The cost of obviously the thing that, but it's more, the most expensive option.
right,
However, we're going to get a rendering for that showing you so you can kind of see the perspective
right.
from 10th Avenue of what it was originally designed and what it would be.
And then with that rendering, can you give us a cost, what the cost difference would be at that time? And then I think once we have all of that information, what I would like to do on the Broadview side is call a committee meeting to explain why we need to do this.
Okay.
And what the cost is. Westchester is more than welcome to participate in the conversation as well to come. The agency will host a meeting, but we'll do it for the Broadview residents because it's going to be a direct impact to 10th and 11th Avenue residents.
Okay. Probably be the January meeting
Yeah.
for the holidays and everything.
What is like the actual above ground height? I'm trying to
I mean, so there will be dirt, everything will be filled up to the side, some of the sides.
Yeah.
You can see.
So like how much is actually above
Yeah, so
ground?
like this is on 13th, you can see that this is 628. So this looks to be about 4 or 5 foot, the ground will be 4 or 5 foot higher than the street.
Okay.
So it will slope up and then that part, because there's a requirement that majority of the volume has to be above ground.
Okay.
So we can't like fill to the top here and slope it down or anything of that nature.
Because the only thing, and I'm wondering too, just with keeping costs and with aesthetics, but if there's also something where like we could even do landscaping closer to 10th Avenue, which then would
Kind of give it
kind of block that if there is a
take away the massiveness of it.
exactly where that may be something that we could do, and you get those arborvitaes or whatever they are,
Yeah.
they grow nice and tall, it looks nice.
I mean, yeah.
It would, and that may be something that could.
Yeah, we can put those right in front of the fence or something, or close to the.
I'm just trying to think of something else that's gonna, so you're not
Elevate it.
looking at this big massive,
Okay. Okay, screening options too.
Yeah, that would be
But yeah, I'm
good.
definitely visual too. I need to see it. Yeah, that really have a good idea of what the heck I'm.
I think that would be good. I know the last time we had the conversation as it relates to the reservoir, some of the members of the community was talking about being able to walk around it. So with it going higher, that would still be considered, even with the
We'll still have a path.
aesthetics as it relates to planting trees or whatever to beautify the area. I mean, all of that would be a plus for us. Okay.
That was still, that's one of the things going wider would make the path a little more problematic along
Okay.
13th as well.
Okay, so we looking to do something in January, so we'll just keep this on the agenda, January meeting or I'm gonna put /February, because we'll have a board meeting in January, and then we can go right into the, we'll talk about it. We'll get some dates and calendars, coordinate with Mayor Stafford. Thank you, Jim. Next on the agenda is status report of the 1014, 1020 West Roosevelt Road properties, Housing Forward. So we have a guest here from Housing Forward. Attorney Jarusik, is there any updates you can brief us on?
Yes, on your agenda for consideration and action is Resolution 2022-06. It's a resolution approving the Fourth Amendment to the real estate contract. This would extend the real estate contract due diligence period until Monday, May 1, 2023, at the request of Housing Forward. This gives Housing Forward additional time to secure the multiple layers of financing necessary to purchase and to develop the subject property. I've reviewed the Fourth Amendment. It's consistent with the last two amendments we've made. So from staff's perspective, if the board is okay with the extension of time and giving Housing Forward additional time to try to make this project work, the recommendation from staff would be to approve the resolution as presented, and I would also defer to Housing Forward to make comments on this matter.
Thank you. Would you like to make a comment as it relates to the amendment? You can go to the mic as we streamline.
Thank you all. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Chris Martinez from Housing Forward. I'm Chief Operating Officer, and thank you for your consideration of our request for extension. Just a couple of additional updates on the project. The layering of funding that Attorney Jarusik mentioned has gone through now 2 additional approval levels from the IDA loan committee, and just recently, within the last week, the finance committee has advanced our request to fill our funding gap to the IDA board, and the IDA board is expected to review that funding request on their next meeting on November 18th. And our hope and our plans currently are to, if we get the approval of the full IDA board on November 18th, to be able to close in early January on the property.
Okay, so May 1st is enough time to secure the funding that's required.
Yes.
Okay, and so at that board meeting, just for a point of clarity, on the November 8th board, you said November 8th, right?
18th.
No, the 18th. So on the November 18th, board meeting for IDA, they are looking to, review and approve.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, well, we've been going through this for multiple times with Housing Forward to get the, to secure it, and I believe that it's a good project, for our region at large, is housing. And housing is a commodity that we all need to have access to. So I'm happy to be able to support this initiative with Housing Forward, but I have to be real honest, if it's not gonna happen by May 1st, then it's gonna bring some concerns because we can develop the property in Broadview.
Understood.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much.
So next on the agenda is consideration and approval of resolution number 2022-6, resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a Fourth Amendment to real estate sales contract to be entered into between the Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency and Housing Forward. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Stecker?
Aye.
Mayor Thompson, yes. Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Okay, so that carries. So after the board meeting at the November 18th board meeting, can you all send us an email to let us know if it was approved, or was give us like a status update like right away, just so we know? Okay, I appreciate that. You're welcome. Next is new business, consideration and approval of the finance report as of October 27, 2022, the check detail report for period September 23rd, 2022 to October 27, 2022, in the amount of $530,185.14. The check agency numbers are 16626 through 16653. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns, Mayor Stecker?
Nope.
Ms. Jones?
Nothing.
I'll call for a roll call. Mayor Stecker?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mayor Thompson, yes. That carries. Next on the agenda is consideration and approval of renewal of health care insurance coverage with Blue Cross Blue Shield in the amount of $45,523. This coverage is from December 1st, 2022 to December 23rd. I do have some questions, but I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So the question that I have, was there an increase in the health insurance?
Yes.
Can you come to the mic, because I got questions. So yes, there was an increase. Do we know what the increase percentage was, or the amount?
The amount was $7,419.
And do we know the reason why it was increased? Was it a change in our policy, or?
I'm assuming that's just the increase in, what percentage was it?
The percent was 19.47.
Wow,
Big jump, yeah.
that is.
But you're also running into two people. like part of the struggle is because you only have small.
Can you come to the mic? Thank you.
So what we're seeing in the industry right now is 9 to 12%. 19% is a little high. The struggle that you guys have is that you only have a small population,
Right.
because you only have two. I only have two in my company. Mine came back at 9%. So it truly depends on your population, the claims that have been made. Obviously, we don't have access because of HIPAA laws. We don't have access
Right.
to claims that are made. The issue comes into play is whether or not you wish to modify to get the cost down. We've done in the history of the health insurance for the agency, we've done a comparison to the two-member districts so that our plan is consistent with what's being offered in Westchester and in Broadview. So the plan we have is consistent with both of them. In order to save money, obviously you could always increase deductibles, increase co-pays, those kind of things. But now you're taking and making the district, the agency, not in line with the two-member districts,
So I have a question as it relates to that. Is there a consortium of where we can get into a collaboration with smaller districts to offset the cost?
Or something where they do.
Yeah.
If we could jump in a pool like the municipalities like we've done. in the past.
So Westchester's an IPBC still, right? So the thing is that, so we have seen where villages, where they're a part of a member district, so like in LaGrange Park is a member of IPBC. They go in and allow the library to go in and come into their insurance, okay, and be a part of the IPBC insurance pool because it allows them to keep the cost down. The struggle that comes into play when you do that kind of thing is this. So in IPBC, it's called a self-insurance pool, okay? So basically, Westchester goes in and pays a premium. And then as costs are incurred by Westchester, they deduct from that premium that they paid, and whatever is left after administrative fees, it's still Westchester's money.
Oh.
So if you allow BWJWA to piggyback off of that, how do you decide what level of that money that's allocated to Westchester belongs to BWJWA? The way I've seen it in the past is basically, you can piggyback on ours, but we get to keep the difference. That's how it always happens. And because of the fact that IPBC can't go in and say, hey, this is for BWJWA employees, this is for village employees, you know. Now, if both member districts were in IPBC, so if like if Broadview suddenly went to IPBC, I'm in IPBC in 2 of my towns, so I'm well aware of how it works. It's, you know, it would make it beneficial for the agency to have the employees come through. But you're really talking about, you know, in looking at the other proposed, because they went and the insurance broker went in and shopped our plan to UHC and Aetna, or Humana, and even those two had an increase. They had a 5% increase. So the fact is that even though the benefits are the same, the insurance, the doctors in the pools are different, okay? If you wish to go the IPBC route, you've got to go through IPBC and get permission from them to allow you to say hop onto Westchester's. And then there'd have to be an IGA between the two of them. It would take time. There's nothing that says that you can't, so health insurance is not like liability or workers' comp. Health insurance is a 30-day out clause. Like you give Blue Cross Blue Shield, by the way, in 30 days we're canceling you. You have that option. So if you wish to evaluate that concept, you can go ahead and evaluate that concept. Or, you know, they haven't given us much, you know, when it comes to health insurance analysis, literally, they will give us every single plan Blue Cross Blue Shield offers, and then says, here's all the benefits of them, here's the premium for it. It's you know, if you wish for us to reevaluate the premiums and the deductibles and the co-pays, we can go ahead and put something together. Unfortunately, this renews December 1st, so we don't have the luxury of not renewing or not approving one of them, but we can change it later on if we want.
So I would, I'm gonna be a yes vote for when we call for the motion to vote to approve the insurance as it relates to vision, dental, and the health insurance, but I am gonna ask the interim superintendent and the financial team to, prior to even bringing this to the board, you all need to bring it to us before the board so that we can have a conversation, because I know you get the notices way ahead of time. I mean, whenever they send out the notifications for the renewal, that should be brought to our attention so that we can have these conversations on like what's gonna be best for the agency. So I think it's it's like our hands are tied at this time. But I think it's gotta be, we have to have intentional conversations as it relates to how we expend funds and how we look at benefit plans for employees of the agency.
I agree.
So, I'm gonna call for a roll call vote for the health insurance, but just put that in the notes that when we come up to renewals of anything that requires a financial, burden to the agency, I wanna be notified so that I can make a vote that's holding me accountable and being fiscal responsible. And I'm sure, I'm not speaking for Mayor Stecker because he's here, but,
I totally understand.
okay. So, for the health care coverage, I'm calling for a roll call. Mayor Stecker?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mayor Thompson, yes. Thank you. And so that'll be for all three, for dental and vision as well. So consideration and approval of renewal of dental insurance coverage with Blue Cross Blue Shield in the amount of $139.96 for family coverage per month and $50.42 for single coverage per month. That coverage is from December 1st to December 1st, 2022 to November 30th, 2023. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Just real quick discussion. What is the employee portion? 20%. 20%? Okay, and that's for everything, it's, okay, 20%. Thank you.
Okay, that's it, Mayor Stecker?
Yep, that's all I
Okay,
wanted.
Mayor Stecker?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mayor Thompson, yes. Next on the agenda is item 4, consideration and approval of renewal of vision insurance coverage with Blue Cross Blue Shield in the amount of $10.66 for family coverage per month and $4.26 for a single coverage per month. That coverage period is from December 1st, 2022 to November 30th, 2023. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Calling for a roll call. Mayor Stecker?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mayor Thompson, yes. Item 5, status report on renewal of general liability, casualty, property, and other lines of insurance coverage. Agency insurance broker will attend the November 17th agency board meeting to present the renewal options. So, I guess I'm confused on this whole,
Yeah, you should have
because
been here.
they should have been here today for December 22nd. So I'm gonna ask to table this, and I know the board, the renewal date is December 1st, and we have another agency meeting on,
That just looks like a status. That is just a status. Yeah, that's just a status. So Wesley should report out where we're at and what the preliminary, I'm assuming you have the preliminary numbers.
But it says that the agency broker will attend.
right, so, in the 4th, that's actually Thanksgiving, so we're gonna have to push the,
The 17th? Wait, what day am I looking at?
so the agency meeting will be on the 17th. Which, we're gonna have to reschedule that, because I'll be out of town. I'm gonna table that, we need to get the numbers from the insurance carrier prior to them attending, and we can get all our questions answered.
I think that was merely to say, hey, it's important to have that meeting on the 17th, because that's when our insurance guy is gonna be here, he usually comes. And so, the status is that, hey, we need to make sure we have that meeting in November, so that we get the insurance approved, so that it goes into effect in December.
Yeah, okay,
That's all that comment was for.
okay, so it's just a status report, we'll have to get back to the, broker, before the 17th, because I know I'm traveling, and then Thanksgiving is the week after, so,
I will follow up with Wesley to find out why we don't have a quote yet,
okay,
and make sure we have a quote within the next, by Friday.
Okay.
We should have a quote, so that we can forward them to you, so that you have a couple of weeks to discuss.
okay, I appreciate that, thank you. Number 6, consideration of amendment to contractor list for on-call routine and emergency water system repair services. This is to add contractor John Neary Construction Company, Inc. You wanna go to the mic?
Yes, when we did the current list of contractors, we went through a process and they were submitting rates, based on hourly rates for labor, for equipment and stuff like that. John Neary, when we approached them with that contract, they said the way the DuPage Water Commission does it is it's more of a time and material basis, which is what a lot of work is done in the area. And whatever their labor rates is or whatever their equipment is, and then they get a markup on it. The standard normal IDOT is 35% markup on labor, 10 to 15% on equipment, and some of the other things.
35%.
So what DuPage Water Commission does is just ask each contractor to submit a proposal for what their markup would be on the labor. So they could go 35, which is the standard. They could go a little more, a little less. And that way you would have, and same thing with equipment and materials. It seems to be a more equitable possibly way of doing it, keeping people a little bit more. So adding them to the current contract, it isn't the same. So I did talk to 2 of the contractors that are on our current list, and they would be okay with revising pricing based on that. So the suggestion would be is reissue the RFP on this different method of compensation and set up a bidding schedule and get proposals back in. And we can do it open to everybody. Or Mike, I don't know if it's possible just to go to the people that are on our list.
Thank you. Mike, did you hear the question?
I did not. Could you repeat that, Jim?
Sure. So if we go out for this different method of, compensation can we just solicit from the 4 that we have on our list plus Neary, or do we have to publicly bid it and go through the whole process again?
Since the work exceeds $10,000 or $25,000 actually in any given year under, competitive bidding statute, unless the board is going to, I would open it up. I would definitely direct mail Neary and the folks on our list, but I would also just do a general posting so we're compliant with the competitive bidding statute, because, the value of this work in any given year can certainly exceed the bidding threshold in the bidding statute.
Okay. So I will work on that for having that for the January meeting as well.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you. You have any questions or comments for?
Nope. Thank you.
So I'm gonna make a motion for us to go into closed session for the appointment, employment compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body.
Superintendent's report. Skip over that.
Oh, I did, I'm sorry. Superintendent's report. Thank you. I didn't even see that.
Hello, I had submitted my superintendent's report electronically, if you have any questions.
The advisory council meeting that you attended with the City of Chicago Water Management,
Yes.
can you tell us more about what that is?
So that's where they're creating this group to where they can meet for the communities that they serve to discuss, like, as far as the water rates, mainly like the water rates, if I'm not mistaken. I'm still being brought up to speed on it. Excuse me. So we had that meeting in October to officially pick the dates for 2023. So we should get those dates in the early part of December.
And when you say the dates, is that just the dates to attend an advisory committee meeting, or a dates for a discussion as it relates to water rates or any water infrastructure that's going to be required by the City of Chicago?
It's going to be both, because they're only going to meet 4 times a year.
Okay. And how does a member agency like the Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency get on the agency board, the advisory board?
How do they get on the advisory board?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it's 48 communities that they serve, so they have 48 of the members. It has to be a member from each community to show up to the meeting.
Okay.
And as of right now, I've been attending.
Okay,
for
so
the
we are
agency.
already a member of the agent,
Yep.
the advisory board. Okay, so then, I'm gonna ask for direction, like, every quarter that, because it's 4 times a year, so obviously it's every quarter. Every quarter that, this agency go to an advisory meeting, that we be briefed on what's taking place, so that we know what's taking place. So,
Okay.
that should be a part of the superintendent's report. Every quarter that you all meet, that should be brought to this board with an update on what's taking place as it relates. So the last meeting that you attended, based off the conversation, was pretty much just establishing meeting dates for the upcoming year.
Okay.
Okay, and then at the next board meeting, I guess they'll go more into water rates or whatever issues are taking place. We need to be aware of what's taking place so that we can advocate for the water agency and for our water customers. So that's gonna be a requirement for the superintendent to be able to brief this board on that.
Okay.
Okay, and then I see that you have signed up for the Open Meeting Acts training, so that's good to know. The other question, have you taken the FOIA training?
No, not yet.
Okay, so I'm gonna, ask that you do the FOIA training as well,
Okay.
because you will, or whoever is in the office over there, have to be the FOIA officer. So we gotta have that established, so I'm gonna ask that you complete that within the next 10 days. And once you complete that, send a copy of your FOIA training to Mayor Stecker and to myself, so that we know that it's been done.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I have. Mayor Stecker?
Just if we could get just a update on the pump situation, the one that burned out. If there's been any changes?
So, Concentric Integration was able to find a VFD in-house at one of their offices. They have to find the components to go to it to make it work with the SCADA that we have. And once they do that, they will provide me with the final quote on replacing the VFD. And then as soon as they send that to me, I'm gonna send it to you and Mayor Thompson.
So as it sits right now, what are the capabilities, limitations, concerns with the system?
Well, right now we're running the risk of, if another VFD fails, you will only have one pump for your town.
Okay.
Because we're constantly running pumps 1 and 2 right now.
And if we only have one, is there limitations, or would we have to do some sort of, water restriction?
I would probably have to implement a water restriction, because if we go down to one pump, we may run the chance of that blowing out too.
Okay.
Failing, so we wouldn't want that to happen.
But one pump is sufficient to supply all of the needs on a daily basis. You don't run 2 pumps at the same time, right?
No, one pump is not sufficient.
They alternate, so just so
But it's not a backup.
So, hold on.
You're back up at the second, that's why you have 3.
Yes, okay.
On the 2.
Okay, thank you. And,
So, hold on. We're running 2 pumps for each town. Every time that calls for the pumps to run, it's always 2 pumps, not 1. We do have 3 pumps. In this case, we had the 3rd pump fail, and we're mainly running the 2 pumps, so we can't alternate.
The third one is the alternation.
Yeah.
okay. And this was strictly due to a power surge?
Yes.
And now is that, is there any ability for a claim with ComEd?
No.
Or anything like that? No?
No.
Okay. And is there any sort of protections that we could put in place to kind of prevent this from happening?
We have protections in place. It blew right past, for whatever reason, Westchester number 3, it blew right past that protection and blew that VFD up.
So can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because if there's a power surge and ComEd is the responsible supplier of electricity, right? I think we should probably reach out to ComEd to see how this can be prevented, because I can't see something just running past something and there's no protection.
We may have a claim or anything. Or at least whatever protection system we have in place that failed, then maybe, there's some
I could discuss that, I could discuss that in, closed session.
No, we need to do it, that's not a closed session discussion.
Well, I would need, okay, so I would need to get more information, on that.
On the power surge from ComEd, or?
Yeah, to see if we could be able to file a claim.
Okay, so we can connect you to our government affairs
Okay.
person to kind of work with, work that process out. I don't know what the protection would be, but I think my concern is that it went past a protector. And if they're not aware that this system, I mean, this is like we cannot afford to have water boils in our community. We cannot afford not to have water. And we have to hold those that's accountable to making sure we can supply the demands of our communities, which is ComEd in this situation. So we'll chime in ComEd's government affairs to troubleshoot to see what's taking place. Now, if it's an opportunity for them to give us some relief, somewhere, if we've been harmed or hurt in some type of way, and that's a legal thing that Mike can kind of chime in on. But I think the first step is just reaching out to government affairs to explain to them what's taking place and what caused this power surge. They should be able to document what caused the power surge. And if they're not aware that it's a power surge that's taking place, we have to give them an opportunity to explain that to us, because that just don't make sense to me. And I'm not an electrician or I'm not a power company, but it just don't make sense to me. And I need to know why. So we'll reach out to government affairs, and our government affair person is Katrina Steele, so we'll make sure that you get the contact information so that you can reach out and at least put it on a radar that this has happened, and for them to troubleshoot so that in the future it don't continue to happen. Because what if we fix it and then the next pump have a power surge? So we got to get ahead of it before it get out of control. Okay?
I would agree, Mayor Thompson, to reach out to Ms. Steele, our rep.
Yeah.
I know Western Springs runs its own water pumping system and had a power surge, impact one of its well pumps. And it was a nightmare dealing with ComEd, but that's the first place to start. And then we will maybe have to make a claim with our insurance, covering and have the insurance fight with ComEd's insurance. And ComEd has a smart system. They know when power surges happen. They know where they happen. They know the duration of them. They've got a control room that documents that stuff. So I could work with Wesley on this.
Okay, I appreciate that, Attorney Jerusik. Anything else, Mayor Stecker?
No, that was my biggest concern.
Yep.
With that, thank you.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Barber.
You're welcome.
Now, I'll make a motion to go into closed session for item D, the appointment and okay. There's no further discussion as it relates to the matters that was discussed in closed session. We will make a recommendation to circulate a job description for administrative assistant. So we would like to get that posted for administrative assistant, and then repost the position for the superintendent. And we will put a plan in place as it relates to the superintendent position. So with no further discussion, unless Mayor Stecker has something, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Let me do a roll call vote because I'm not sure. Mayor Stecker?
Aye.
Mayor Thompson, yes. Ms. Jones?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.